Hi there. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make donuts. The stuff that you're going to need are measuring cups, measuring spoons, a whisk and a spatula, 2 bowls, flour, sugar, baking powder, salt, nutmeg, 1 egg, milk, butter, vanilla extract, powdered sugar, and that's it. First, we're going to get started with the dry ingredients. You're going to take 1 cup of all-purpose flour. I'm using gluten-free flour, but you can just use normal flour too. And then you're going to grab 1 cup of it. This part can get a little messy. Once you have the flour in the bowl, next we're going to add 1/3 cup of sugar. If your sugar has clumps, what you can always do is take a knife and just poke at those little clumps. When you're done adding the sugar, next we're going to add 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Don't get confused with baking powder and baking soda. Baking powder is a much stronger version of baking soda. Baking powder is also much finer than baking soda. Next, we're going to add 1/2 teaspoon of salt. You can use any kind of salt. I'm using kosher salt. I say you should use kosher salt or table salt, not pink salt. When you're done with that, now we're going to add a pinch of nutmeg. Now we're just going to mix that. Now on to the wet ingredients. Now we're going to add 1/2 cup of milk. Now we're going to add in butter or oil. I chose to use oil, but you can use butter too. If you're choosing to use oil, use either vegetable oil, canola oil, or olive oil. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of this. Next, we're going to add in 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. A thing that my family always does is add a little extra of vanilla extract. It makes everything much sweeter. Don't put away the vanilla extract or the milk. Once we have all the wet ingredients in, we're going to mix it all together until they're all combined. Now we're going to add them both together. Once you have your dry bowl and your wet bowl, you're going to take the big bowl that you have your stuff in. Could be dry, could be wet, and we're going to add it in. Make sure that there are no clumps in your mixture, because if there are, then when it's baking in the oven, you'll get a clump of sugar or salt or flour. Don't forget to scrape the bottom. Once you're done with that, you should get a thick consistency that looks like this. Now, we're going to grab our donut pan. When I'm greasing a pan, what I like to do is put oil in first and then take a paper towel and wipe it all around. Make sure it gets around the whole thing, including the center and even the top, just in case it forms on top of there. And we're going to repeat that step for every single donut. Now for the wet ingredients. First, we're going to add in 1 egg. Be sure when you're done cracking the egg to wash your hands. Now that the oven's heating, we're going to scoop in our dough into the pan. I'm using a teaspoon, but you can use anything as long as it can go and fit. Don't fill it up to be the shape of looking like a donut, because it's going to rise. Make sure you don't fill it up all the way, because the dough is going to rise. Now that they're in the pan, we're gonna wait for the oven. Now that those pesky little donuts are in the oven, let's get started making the glaze. First, we're gonna start off with half a cup of powdered sugar. I'm gonna just do 2/4 just to be safe. I don't wanna make a mess. Somehow I still made a mess, but let's get going on to the 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Like I said earlier, my family likes to add a little bit of extra vanilla extract, so I'm gonna add just a little bit extra. And the last step is we're gonna add 1 to 2 tablespoons of milk. I'm gonna start off by adding 1, and then if I need more, I'll add it. I'll add 2 tablespoons. I think I'm gonna add that extra tablespoon. I don't feel like this is enough, so I think I'm gonna make an extra batch. The donuts are ready, so what I'm gonna do to check if they're baked all the way through, I'm gonna take a toothpick, open it up, and take one of the donuts and poke it. There's no liquid on the toothpick, so I'm gonna take them out. Safety first. And we're gonna let the donuts sit in their pan for 5 minutes, and then we're gonna take it out and let it sit for another 30 minutes. You have it. Easy to make, delicious, and tasty donuts. Thank you for your time. I hope you enjoy these donuts if you made them. Bye.